wow. I mean, like a lot of things to cover. We're going out bottom of the sixth, and I was going out to talk to Jordan to make a pitching change. And as I was walking out, his eyes looked up towards, I guess it's the third base line, the top deck. And, so my eyes turned around, and obviously people were kind of taking cover, and, we didn't really know, what to think. And he's like, "Did you hear that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think so." And, it kind of registered what it possibly could have been. And then obviously it was just, it's a nightmare. It's the thing maybe you think about in the back of your mind. We got the guys, as quick as we could. You're getting off the field and trying to get them in the dugout and get them in, and just a lot going on. And then it dawns on you, the bullpen guys and the families, and just moms, dads, brothers, children, it's a lot.
Hey, it's understandable, obviously, how emotional this is. And even watching it from afar and watching everybody running out and everything, it was such a crazy scene. For you, you also have two little kids, like as a human, and watching, like you said, all the players and their families, and they had families there, and knowing that you have two kids at home. Just like on a human level, what was that kind of like, just knowing that we've seen so many terrible things like this in the past that have gone a very different direction?
Yeah, as we got into the dugout, and then, we went down the tunnels, and the families, were coming in, and seeing, the fans, the people, know our guys as, the Padres, the baseball players, but, they're in there, their dads and their husbands and their sons, and seeing them with their families, and seeing the, kids that, were a little bit shaken. And then, there were, people that weren't families, but we're all humans, and seeing national fans with their children and getting them in and trying to everybody to keep calm. And I will say this, quickly, we had security and officers in blue, and they were there, and they were there protecting. They were running towards gunshots. Davey Martinez reached out, this morning, and what a class act. The Nationals from all aspects, and certainly want to thank their security people that are putting their lives on the line. Definitely a time to step back and say thank you.
We saw photos and videos of some players running out to it looked like to get their families, and families coming in and everything. Did you see any of that? And can you describe any of that? And how did the players handle it in general? Like, was it fear or panic or confusion or all of it, I guess, at once?
I think all of it's fair. You see everything in a quick, when things are happening, pretty quick. I couldn't be any more proud to be a Padre, to be with the men in there. And obviously they're going out, they're thinking of their loved ones, and they're getting their families. And then it's just human nature. They're seeing fans and seeing people in panic. They did the right thing. And, they obviously thought the safest place, maybe from where the shots were, and you don't know what's going on exactly, but they thought maybe the dugout could have been the safest place. And they led and welcomed and guided, people in there. And I couldn't be any more proud to have those players a part of our team.
When did you know, Jayce, that everything was a little bit settled down, or that things were going to be okay? And was there, what kind of relief was there when you guys realized that?
Um, maybe about 30 minutes, after the first shots, and we started to get word that everything happened right outside the stadium. That's when some of the things that you think are the worst kind of nightmare coming to truth. So that's when we started to feel a little bit safer, or a little bit better. I mean, you never feel good, great, anything about that type of incident, but maybe 30 minutes after is when we started to breathe a little bit.
Jayce, really appreciate you sharing all this with us, and glad that you and everyone else are okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian.
We'll go to Jane Morton, CBS 8, San Diego.
Hi there. I see all the emotion that you're feeling. I mean, what were your thoughts when you heard the shots ring out? You saw the reaction from your players. You're the manager. I mean, what was going through your mind at that time?
Yeah, you first start on, because our guys were running out to the field, and I was sitting there with Jordan, the home plate umpire, and he goes, those were shots. And I'm like, Jordan, get inside. And he obviously, was yelling at the players. I was yelling at the players. Jordan was yelling at the other umpires, trying to get them inside. And so we get into the dugout, and we're still trying to scatter. Some of the guys are scattered, and we get in there, and then it's get them down the tunnel. And so as everything's kind of going on, it starts to dawn on you, okay, our position players that were out there. But then I start thinking about our bullpen guys, like, oh, they're out there. Are they in cover? Are they in protection? Our players' families. Those are kind of all the things that run through your head in a very short amount of time. I guess that's kind of the description, in a quick 15, 30 seconds that everything's going through. Yes.
And I mean, you were quite a ways away from the bullpen, right? So, I mean, you must have felt a little feeling of helplessness at that point. Can you describe that for me?
Yeah. Once we got in there about 20, 30 seconds, and the position players, everybody that was in the dugout was kind of in the tunnel in the cage area, and families were pouring in. You start thinking about, I started going up. I'm like, what about the bullpen guys? So I went up to grab my phone, and as I was going up the stairs, you don't know what's going on. So it's, hey, are all the doors locked? Getting into the locker room and all those things. And then we start to figure out, does anybody have a phone down in the bullpen, and how can we get a hold of those guys? And then we got word that they were kind of hunkered down and that they were safe. And so those are a couple things that went on, over the first couple minutes.
And again, I see how emotional you're getting, and for obvious reasons. You think about your family. What are you thinking about when you're kind of tearing up there? The players, fans, family, all of it, probably.
Yeah, I think all of it. And I just can't say how honored and proud I am to be with the group of players and staff that I get to work with day in, day out. Like I said, I think most people see them as baseball players, and when you get to see them as caring human beings, doing the right thing, loving husbands and sons and fathers, I'm honored to be a part of it.
Well, one more question for you, and I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts and your feelings from last night. You're going into the game today. I'm certain you didn't get much sleep last night, nor did any of the players. What are you going to say to all the players, and how are you going to hold up? I mean, I guess that's my question.
We'll group up before the game, and I just plan on just speaking from the heart and just telling them how proud of them I am, how proud of them as men. And we're going to go out. We're going to do the best we can at clearing our minds and going to play baseball. And we're going to also think about and keep our families and friends and loved ones on our mind, but we are going to go play baseball.
And you're going to win, right?
Yeah.
We'll go
Thank
to
you
Marty
very
Kessler.
much.
Hi, Jayce. Just given the state and the emotions of everyone in the clubhouse on both teams, was there any thought of not playing this game today?
No, we haven't had any discussion, like that. It was, we knew we weren't going to probably come back and play last night. And so once we got kind of word where it was safe for us to go back to the hotel, the plan from last night was to finish the game from yesterday, and then quickly after that, start the third and final game of this series. So we haven't had any discussion otherwise.
And quickly, what do you expect the state of the clubhouse to be today?
I think, everybody's going to be, a little bit different, a little bit individual. I think, everybody kind of handles, situations, a little bit differently, but the power we have is going to be just the power of one another, leaning on one another, relying on one another. And, that's how we're going to get through today. And that's how we're going to move forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll go back to Annie.
Hey, Jayce, you talk a lot about these guys being men and what they do off the field. This is something that, right, is like bigger than baseball. Are you okay in this instance with it being bigger than baseball, in a sense of like you just said, guys needing to handle it however they do, or maybe feeling a little differently coming into Nationals Park today than they did coming in last night and whatnot?
Yeah, no doubt. I do believe that, we all are going to handle, things a little bit differently, but we're going to rely on one another. We're going to need one another. We're going to lean on one another. And that's what we got. And so we're going to feel safe today. We're going to go out. We're going to feel safe today, and we're going to do the best we can at, going out and playing baseball.
And my last one for you, was there a moment when you were able to talk to your wife or your kids and let them know that you were safe, and how did that go?
Yeah, of course. Right when it, kind of initially happened, and I was able to, get to my phone, and that's where I was kind of talking about trying to get a hold of the bullpen. My wife had texted, and I had texted back, and then, shortly after, a little bit after, I wanted to, kind of FaceTime with them. And I think my wife knew, we were okay from the text, but I think it was important to, whether it's FaceTime, whatever, but just to connect, with my boys face to face. Hey, everything's okay. And hopefully they could get a good night's rest.